South Russell Village Council meeting on Monday, August the 11th, 2025. Please rise, put your hand over your heart, and join us in our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Fiscal officer will take the roll. Here.
Berger.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
Cannonball.
Here.
Liddy.
Here.
Porter.
Here. Before we go to the minutes, if anybody would like to speak tonight, we normally don't have this many people here. Please look on the back of your agenda, which will explain how we operate. Basically, we give you 5 minutes. Okay, we have minutes from October, July 14th. Any changes or corrections in the minutes? Move to approve the minutes. Approved by Porter, seconded by Canton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are passed. We're jumping on the agenda down to visitors. We have John Wall. He has a Safe Bicycle and Pedestrian Transportation Committee presentation. John is the acting co-chair at this point. As soon as we finish with the visitors, I will be nominating him to become the permanent co-chair, whether he likes it or not. John, the floor is yours. Please stand near the microphone stand. That just lets people know where to be.
Okay.
Give us your address first.
Yes,
And spelling of your name.
yes, John Wall, last name is W-A-H-L, and I've been a resident for 12 years on Laurel Drive, 506 Laurel. And I became interested in this topic because my son and I, 20-year-old son with special needs who lives with me, we do a lot of walking and biking in the area, and a lot of on Bell Road, and it can be a scary experience for some families, children along Bell Road to traverse that. So our committee has been working for a while on this process. We conducted a survey and get responses from about 25% of the households, over 350 households responded, and we asked if they were interested in having some pedestrian options and which would be the preferable locations over any concerns. We also have been working with a grant that I'm sure others can know the details more than that, but we have up to $800,000 in this grant that has already been awarded, so we knew that there was already at least seed money to start with. It's our understanding that that's a grant that would cover 80% of construction costs. What exactly is construction costs, we're still figuring out, but we're hopeful that at least the first phase that we've envisioned that seems to be the most important for residents would fall within that budget, of course, with those support or township support as well. So basically what that consists of is about a mile of a multi-use path that would be not directly connected to Bell Road, but set off, have some space in between for either culvert, grass, whatever go in between, so a little safety barrier. Be about a 5-foot asphalt path. We envision it to start at Spring Drive, so past the park, past Gurney, and to Maple Springs. And we think with that section, less than a mile, we can connect more than half of the households in South Russell to be able to use those facilities and have a safe place for our families and our children to be. And I'm excited about the prospect, and we dreamed it. This would be phase one. We're always thinking, what would be next? What could be next? Who else could we connect and give this option to? So, if you take any questions if that's appropriate. And I know there's materials here.
The pad is on the north side of Bell, proposed.
Well, there's already one crosswalk at the park, so a portion of it would be, kind of the main portion would be coming from Gurney to that crosswalk. But then we propose after it crosses to go along in the park, and then we need probably another cross near the elementary school to include Maple Springs too. So all told, it would include adding 2 more crosswalks along Bell Street. So it wouldn't be a complete straight shot, but the majority would be on those. And we've really tried to be conscious about contacting the folks who would be impacted the most, especially those whose yards this would be in, and we had public conversations and we try to go see them and get their input and yeah, just like the survey, the response we've gotten is really positive, but that doesn't mean we have to keep asking, looking to learn more and make sure everything's working.
Other questions?
Look, that's John, in the last committee, I think it was in the minutes, that talked about also proposing extending from Sugar Lakes up to 306 and incorporate the crosswalks there. Is that still, has that changed or are we still?
No, it hasn't changed, but we because I was just, we could go,
Waiting on the quote still.
we haven't had time to involve our engineering. We don't know if the cost could be consistent. There be, landscape barriers to get through. But yeah, as I said, we're envisioning this as starting point and then hopefully be able to extend further as we go.
I have a question. So people using the path will have to cross Bell Road 3 times essentially to get from A to B?
To go the full length, yeah.
Okay.
Other questions?
Do you want to set up a working session with council?
Yeah, we would love to request, I mean, there's a lot of details, as you can imagine, on this, so we would love to request if council could schedule a working time when we can meet outside of regular council meeting. And we've had a couple other, we don't call them official committee members, but there are a couple other folks who've been regular attendees here tonight also about this. And so we would have a working group that we'd like to have.
Is there any idea of what the cost for maintenance would be year to year after it was presumably put in?
We did not explore that specifically with Rodantis. That would have to be explored with Southwest Village.
I mean, in our conversations, we were talking about the materials that we're using. Would be, there would need to be some boardwalk over, wetland or road areas and things like that. So as part of that, but our engineers were talking in terms of like a 20-year lifespan for those things. So it's not it wouldn't be an immediate need to.
John, Chris, 2 weeks from now,
Let's take the week of the 25th.
the 25th, we have our fall festival meeting at 6:30.
On what day?
If we could move that up to 6 o'clock and then have a working meeting about the path at 7 o'clock
On the 25th?
on the 25th. How's that for everybody?
August.
August 20th, 2 weeks from today.
At what time, ma'am?
7 p.m.
Will we ever come?
Can you move the fall festival meeting up to 6?
That's tough for the committee, for the park committee. I mean, they prefer 6:30, but I can ask.
7:30? Is it too late?
That's fine. Your meeting's gonna last more than an hour.
I can't answer that question.
Knowing that one individual would be there who gives us 45 minutes and then gets up and says it's time to go, why don't we go for 7:30 on August the 25th? It'll be a working session. Okay?
So Mayor, it'll actually be a special meeting of council and probably.
It has to, pardon me.
I think it'll also be a joint meeting, really, of council and the safe, like, bicycle and pedestrian transport.
Okay, that sounds
Joint
even
meeting of
better.
those two committees. It'll be a special meeting. So we have to kind of describe the purpose. So I know we want to say work session, but we'll probably have to further describe that.
Go with that.
What location?
Get it earlier. Your park meeting, gonna be down there?
Yeah.
Okay. So good weather, we'll stay here for the,
So Village Hall?
yes, we'll stay for Village Hall. So ideally, we'll do the Fall Festival from 6:30 to 6:25, to 7:25, and we'll run back here at 7:30.
Has all the council received some of the Verdantis work and also some of the quoting?
Yeah,
Yeah, they should have.
it was in the packet.
I have copies here. All right, anything else for John?
One question, John. This is piggybacking on the chief's comment.
Yes.
Could you just in gross order of magnitude, without a map in front of me, talk about where, the path is, north or south, with some general, magnitude of like, okay, from this street to this street is here, then it goes over to this side.
For the majority of this phase one revision, which would be from the existing crossing at the park to beyond Gurney to Maple Springs would be on the north side.
So that'll all be on the north side.
And so the cross would be to Maple Springs there, and then the next cross would be at the park, and then the path would continue in the park, which we research about the
Okay.
possibility of doing that would be in the park until the cross, kind of at the end of the park, right before Spring Drive. So we're crossing in at the end of the park, and then just have a little short, is it 100 feet, 50 feet or something, from that to get to Spring Drive. We'll be back on the north side again.
If you look on the screens, you can barely see my little thing wiggle around.
It's beyond my
Yeah, basically.
visual acuity there.
Just believe it's there, yeah.
Will any infrastructure have to be relocated, like poles for gas lines or water lines?
We were not made aware of that, no. And we're not envisioning that it's necessarily a complete straight path, so like, fewer telephone poles or trees to remove or things like that. So this is a multi-use path and not a highway next to the street, so it's okay, but there's a little bit of controversy.
Eric, are you familiar with the Verdantis plan? Are there any, I think Jerry just asked whether there's any utilities or poles or interfaces that would have to be removed?
I haven't seen on paper yet the site plan, if you will. Like, here's where the path is gonna go, it's gonna start 6 feet off the edge of the pavement and, you'd be in this general location. As for utilities, with a path like this, we have more leeway, because if we put asphalt in, it's considered a flexible temporary surface. That's how the utility companies view it. They can dig it with a backhoe. Like if the gas line is over there on the north side of the road on Bell, and it's gonna be underneath our path, the gas company is not likely gonna care about that, because if there was an emergency and they need to get in there, they can still dig right through with a backhoe and make an emergency repair. Like I said, I haven't seen the layout printed on paper yet, with contours and grading and everything else. my concern would be stormwater. We've got a lot of stormwater that flows down that Bell corridor. We've got a lot of stormwater runoff that flows off of the street. There's a really good chance that will require quite a bit of storm sewer piping and work to go in to facilitate this path, but that's all speculation because I haven't seen a red line on a piece of paper that says here's where it's gonna be. So that's just something from the village's engineering standpoint, that's things that I'll be looking for.
Are there sanitary lines down that side too?
Oh, there are in some spots. I think it crosses back and forth in a couple spots down Bell. It's not a continuous straight shot down. But same with the Java wastewater. If there was an emergency repair necessary, the asphalt path would be a little concern to them. They could dig right down through it to make an emergency repair if needed.
There is a property on the north side, probably adjacent to the historic house, which is largely wooded. And I believe there, the wooded property, the woods, the foliage goes almost all the way to the street. Have we considered that we're gonna have to tear out a lot of those trees?
Is that in the vicinity of like across the street from the cemetery?
Yes,
Yeah, there's a grade problem over there too.
and that's probably privately owned, I would imagine.
Yeah,
You say grave problem?
a grade problem.
Grade.
No, it's not a grade problem. Hopefully not a grade problem on the north side of that. There's definitely a grade issue in that the steepness of that path could be quite, if we just follow the surface topography without, proper earthwork, like the path would be quite steep in places there. So that there's other concerns beyond just like tree removal and foliage.
Has the path been described by Verdantis?
I've been working with Rich Washington. Rich Washington is the engineering rep that's kind of sitting in with the committee. And yeah, he's keeping me up to date on kind of like,
He came and presented at the last meeting, Rich did.
Yeah, here's-
Maps and ideas.
Okay.
yeah, he's been keeping me up to speed on, we're thinking, north side here, south side here, we want to kind of, in the future, connect to the sidewalk on Chagrin, things like that. So yeah, I think the presentation that was put forth tonight's accurate and in line with what I understand as well. So
We need to relocate the guardrail over Farm Creek.
maybe depends on how you want to get around it. If you want to build a boardwalk out around the backside of it, then no.
I think that's what's proposed is a boardwalk, same between Chagrin Lakes and Sugar Bush.
They mentioned boardwalk, you're talking down by the old Beaver place? Yeah.
Anything else for John?
Is the expectation of use of the trail, is it year round?
I don't know, have we,
We haven't determined that.
you mean like, we,
Yeah, right, where we have to maintain during the winter.
I'm not, no. I'm not gonna be following it. No, I would hope not.
I mean, is this gonna be asphalt all the way, or is it, rock, gravel,
I mean, that's what's been recommended to us.
asphalt?
To the asphalt, and, unless it's a boardwalk.
How likely?
Anything else for John?
And 5 foot is the estimate for it, not like a full 2 million.
Last call for John. All right, John, thank you. Don't leave. I got a couple of things yet. Suzanne, did you intend to speak tonight? Are you planning on it? I know you said a few things. So the reason I'm asking, it'll be in the minutes, so we'll need your name and address. But you did speak already.
Okay, that's fine.
But do you want to speak or make comments or anything?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay. All right, coming around with you, and then we'll work all the way around to the back, is the proposed timeline. This is for me. just for me. The committee has not seen this, but I thought since we're adding a date, we better take a look at this now.
Karen, did you want me to circulate these in the audience as well?
Sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
We're already halfway down this, Mayor. August 11th.
I intended to hold most of this until we talk to the committee at the end of the month, but since we're having a meeting on the 25th, I want to bring it up now. When you look at the proposed timeline, we have looked and talked to people, talked to the mayors of Chagrin Falls, Orange, Pepper Pike. We're going to go see the mayor of of Mayfield Heights tomorrow. We've been meeting since the last Friday of the month. Survey came out in November. The final deadline was February the 14th. We had 67% support. We beat Pepper Pike by 65%. Now, just let's be smart. This is not an easy decision. Pepper Pike, they did a survey. Council said, oh, it's biased, it's unfair. So council did a survey. Then they said, no. So then they put it on the ballot. 65%, 65%, 65% every time. And that's what it took to get it through. For example, in Pepper Pike, their numbers never changed. In June 2025, Dennis and I were at Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce event, and both the Chagrin Falls mayors and the Orange mayors praised the idea of paths and trails, what they've done. On May the 12th, we had sent letters to everybody who's going to have this path in their front yard. That's 6 people. Said, hey, we'd like to meet with you, come to the pavilion. One person came and showed up. In July, or Dantas delivered the committee. It came at the end of July, so that's why some people are hearing this for the very first time. Price tag was $676,000 and other things. Last Saturday, August the 9th, we knocked on the doors of the 6 people who will have the path in their front yard to hear what they had to say. Today you're here. Now, on August 11th, that's the day. I want to be real upfront and frank. We had told people from the beginning, Gurney to the park, Gurney to the park. Now, the committee has expanded that, but I wanted to give you the version of Gurney to the park to let you know what it would be. That's $676,000. For anybody that has additional questions, for those of you out there watching, I'll be here tomorrow morning. We have people coming in already who have questions about it. Some of you sat on a piece of paper. It says ice cream bike ride. That's coming up. And then on August 29th, now we'll throw in there August 26th. This will be the joint meeting that the solicitor described.
25th, Mayor, or the 26th?
26th. You know, I've had troubles. 25th, got it. 26th, I have a different meeting. Starting August 30th to the end of the farmer's market, we will have a table and a tent there so people can ask questions. And then September the 8th was my thoughts, and I have not talked to the committee, so I'm letting you know ahead of time, that they talk at the full face, and that would be the one basically from Spring Drive, which is Country Estates, all the way across to the intersection. And that's a change from what we originally said we wanted to do, and I wanted to make sure you understand that. The question of what do you do about the Emerald Lakes or the creek is a boardwalk that's been proposed by the engineer for $90,000. And a crosswalk with Gurney, they proposed that these things were $18,000 cheap. I thought Bell was 32,000. So we may have an issue there on what kind of crosswalks we put in. And finally, on September 22nd, we could talk about the full phase, like going from Chagrin Lakes to Chillicothe. That has not been dealt with by engineers. We also talked about the crosswalk at Chillicothe and Bell, and a path from Chillicothe all the way to Sunridge, and then a path from Spring Drive to Chagrin Falls. So those are long-range thoughts. Other timelines, you can put in a ribbon cutting ceremony. Now, flip the paper over. This is the estimate to build this according to Verduntis. Talked about what it would take. You're talking about a 5-foot asphalt path from Gurney to the park. This estimate from Verduntis has 2 boardwalks. That's the board that Chris Bell mentioned, the boardwalk that would go from Sugar Bush to Maple Springs. That way you connect in, I don't know how many homes are in Chagrin Lakes, but a lot of homes. So that somebody who lives in Chagrin Lakes would come up to the corner, take a boardwalk, take a crosswalk, and they get to Gurney safely without having to be on. So I knocked off half a boardwalk, since there's 2 of them. So the original proposal from Gurney to the park would be 90,000, not 180,000. Also, we talked about 2 more crosswalks. The original proposal, again, is from Gurney to the park, but that only needs 1 more crosswalk. And I think the chief's right. I think we at 30,000. And then the other thing that Verduntis put into this was a complete crosswalk signalization at 306 and Bell. That would be 30,000, and again, that was not a part of the original. All right, chicken scratching at the bottom. If you take out a $90,000 boardwalk, an $18,000 crosswalk, and a $30,000 intersection, that's $138,000. Those are things that were not needed for the very basic Gurney to the park. Subtract that from the 676, that's 538,000 would be the total cost for the path from Gurney to the park.
Mr. Mayor, I think some of the asphalt here also includes the stuff that was projected through the park, so your
Yes.
numbers would be less.
Yeah,
You're reducing that.
This is, I'm always going high, Chris. 'cause I think-
These are ballpark numbers anyhow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is much, the asphalt cost would be less, but I didn't know how to really judge that.
Yeah.
The key to me, if it costs 538,000, we pay 20%. The original plan of a path from Gurney to the park would cost $107,600 of taxpayer money. Basically, we are buying asphalt, trees, and labor at an 80% discount. We have to pay 20% of the cost. Now, we have to pay that up front. So I would leave this with you to percolate. See you all in 2 weeks. Again, if you have questions or anybody out there has questions, I'll be here tomorrow at 9 o'clock to go through this again.
I only have one question, just in case the engineer can't make it in 2 weeks. This year, we found out that our NOACA money was pushed back a year in February. Do we have any idea when this ODOT budget comes out, so we know if we'll have this money for real in 2026?
The money should be available in 2026.
So we won't know until January?
This money is available now. It's already been. The reason why the ODOT Bell Road project got pushed back until 2026 was not because the funding wasn't available, it's because ODOT didn't have room in their bidding schedule to get the design approved and bid. It wasn't because the funding wasn't available.
Okay, so I communicated differently, so thank you.
Eric, one further question. I noticed in the Verdandis figures here, you have a line item for trail excavation and embankment. Does that include the grading problems that you just introduced at today's meeting?
Most likely, it's a pretty healthy number. He's at $22,000. Most likely it includes some of that. I can clarify that with Rich Washington, he's the one.
Yeah, it would be nice going forward if we had a verification that here's where the path is going.
Right,
And, you know,
and
don't foresee any problems with excavation or, you know, fill or whatever, that we could then say, are the numbers valid?
right, we're not there yet. We're moving toward that point, but we're not there yet.
When might we be there?
I don't know. Once we determine here's exactly where the path is going, survey layout quality, offset from the edge of the road, topo overlay over the whole thing, we're not, that's getting ready in advance of bidding, like getting the plans ready. I haven't even, I've seen this just super preliminary stuff, Councilman Zulicki, and it's not enough for me to say, oh, don't forget this, and yeah, you're high on this number and low on this number. It's still, these are still very round ballpark numbers at
Okay,
this
so
point.
these are preliminary estimates
Yeah.
of cost.
Eric, one of your overlays will be sanitary sewer and storm sewer, right?
Mhm.
Because when we talk about excavation along this line,
Yeah,
there's storm sewer pipes and the sanitary sewer pipes aren't that deep, as I recall.
they're not, but when we're talking about excavation for most of this, we're talking a few inches. So that's not what I'm worried about, but to your point, there are surface level structures for both the sanitary and the storm. We've got inlet basins for the storm, and we've got manholes and cleanouts in some cases for sanitary. So if we're adjusting the grade just because we're pushing things down to make it more gentle, or embanking to bring sections more up to make it more uniform, those structures are gonna have to be adjusted as well. And it might constrain what we're able to do with elevation of the path. So you're 100% on top of it.
Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but in our preliminary meetings, Rich Washington did say 2 houses will have some landscaping and maybe an actual
Step down.
container, a step-down wall. The advantage is they don't see the path. The disadvantage is it's gonna go down a little bit. Other than that, basically you think from Gurney to the park, on the north side of the road, up to the telephone poles. That's our right of way, there's plenty of land in there, but it does go downhill. Anything else? I'm gonna plug the ice cream ride, which would be the Sunday before we meet here on that Monday. Anything else? Thank you all for being here. You're more than welcome to stay. Also, if anyone needs a packet of the proposed, this was the survey that went out. These are the comments from 373 people. We will have this at the farmer's market for the rest of the year, so that people are well informed of what's happening. Other than that, okay, are there other visitors who would like to speak? Going once, going twice, again, thanks for coming. All right, we're now at the mayor's report. John, don't leave yet. I'm looking for a motion from Councilman Bell to approve John Wall as an official member of the Safe Bicycle and Pedestrian Transportation Committee. He, I think you were at the meeting when you got nominated to be the co-chair. I didn't know if it got you when you weren't there. But Chris, can you take care of that?
Sure, John, that might be the first time in history someone's been nominated while they're there. So congratulations. I'd like to make a motion to approve John Wall as an official member of the Safe Bicycle and Pedestrian Transport Committee. Second.
It's been moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? John, congratulations. Now you can go home. Okay. Under the mayor's report, I had questions about the newsletter. I'm very concerned about the effectiveness of it. I've heard from different people, different things. I've heard pros and cons, but I did know that coming up, we have the bike ride, ice cream bike ride, We have the Fall Festival where we're going to have food trucks. This Wednesday night, we have a big meeting with Chagrin Valley Fire Department. We have these PATH meetings coming up. And I'm just concerned that the word is getting out there. So let's keep aware and maybe check with your friends and neighbors. Are they reading it? Do they see it? Do they miss it? Do they care?
Well, other than putting it out there, Mayor, you can't, people know it's available.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what an alternative would be.
No, you don't lead a horse to water. I don't either. I don't know if the newsletter would help.
We used to mail it out.
Yeah.
Now we send it by email, essentially, and post it on the village website, so it's certainly available. Whether people read it or not, I
That's
don't know, but
that
it
is
seems like the word is
beyond
available.
us. Okay, the other thing, when we tell you, the cemetery has been here for 10 years, July 18th, 2015. So I'm calling together the original cemetery committee, the people that have been involved in the committee, bringing back all the old street commissioners, people that were involved in the cemetery to talk for about an hour about what they thought was going to happen, what happened, and where the future of the cemetery looks like. That'll be an hour on August the 26th.
What time, Mayor?
From 9 to 10. All right, one last comment. I had the pleasure of following the engineer and the street commissioner around. I do that from time to time. I follow Pete McDonald when we go through the park, Kim Brewster Shuffleton when we walk with Eric through the floodplains. I do it with Dave Hosevar. Dave Hosevar, for example, takes his electrical outlet and plugs it in to his electrical tester and plugs it into his outlet. You don't realize there's probably 70 to 80 electrical outlets in the house. He does every one. It was just to see how thorough he was. I've also followed around the fire prevention officer, and we dealt with meeting with the restaurant and say, you're not going to open tomorrow until you clean your grill. And they did it at 10 o'clock at night. So it's interesting. But with Eric and Tim following around, we started with a resident who sent us pictures. I think some of you got pictures of his flooding backyard. This is a tough situation because his backyard is near the park and because his neighbor and he do not get along at all. We've had to make the neighbor move a fence, and now the neighbor has remodeled his pond and it flows the wrong way. We met some HOA people about dead trees in the right of way, about water that's running downhill, and about what we can do to hold the water. They looked at a concrete driveway. Frankly, it was being held up by a rusted culvert pipe and air. I don't know how it stayed up. We dealt with a happy resident who's getting his curbing replaced. Dealt with a resident who had an irate Saturday morning phone call, who by Monday afternoon had turned around, apologizing, and understood what's going on. So it was interesting to, within a couple hours with those two, the highs and the lows, happy and unhappy people. Hey, come over here, when they saw us, you guys come in and take a look at this is what I'm doing. Well, we didn't really plan to be here, but yeah, we took a look at stuff, a lot of different things going on. So it's nice to be able to observe and know that things are going well. All right, that ends the mayor's report. Questions of the mayor? All right, fiscal officer, you're up.
I distributed my report to mayor and council. I don't know if there are any questions. I did send out today a revised income tax collection report. So for January, February, April, and May of this year, we hit record collections for those particular months of the year. And collections are up, so I hope they stay that way. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that I did contact PEP, our insurance company, on Friday and let them know that the mulch has been done, sent them the pictures, and then let them know about the ethics questions and with elected officials and that, making sure that you guys are aware of the ethics law and the employee handbook and all that. So that was all sent to them, and I think we satisfied their request. And then lastly, I distributed tonight the budget worksheets for the committees to meet with their department heads and get me your numbers by September 8th, and then we'll start our 2026 budget process. And then the budget work session is September 22nd at 5:30. And that's all I have.
Questions of the fiscal officer? Hearing none, finance committee.
Jerry, thank you very much, Mayor. Dr. Tom. Excuse me, I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment process responsibility policy.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Motion to acknowledge the receipt and review of the 8/11/25 credit card report.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. Committee met on August the 8th. Council electronically received the minutes. Any questions? Okay, a few other things here. I did sign a second round of monthly checks. Got them signed and cross-checked. And let's see, next meeting will be on September 12th at 3:15 p.m. I would also like to announce that I will not be able to make the budget meeting in Charlotte on the 19th, but Councilman Ford, who is a member of the committee, will be in attendance. Any questions?
Questions of the finance committee?
Yeah, question here. So, having attended the budget meeting in Chardon several times before, and we had taken questions from the budget committee regarding high cash balances, let's call it that, okay? And we are at record high cash balances.
We are at record high cash balances as of now, but you have to remember, we have the South building, and even if that building isn't done before the end of the year, we'll encumber that expense.
Don't say that.
Well, at least the payment. And then we have Bell East, which we estimate about $100,000 in engineering, or in cost to get that set up. And then we have the road program. So we do have some big expenses coming in this year. And the tax budget goes to the county for 2026. So with the preliminary numbers I had, all I really had was like $35,000 in income tax fund that would be available to transfer somewhere else. So I don't anticipate any problems. They do give me a summary ahead of time, let me know if there was any questions that they knew at the time. They didn't have any of that.
Well, the other thing, Danielle, is also that if we do the path in 2026, that's a reimbursement, as I recall. So we will have to earmark $750,000 to $1 million to fund that project as well next year.
We would put in the revenue and then the
And the
expense.
reimbursement isn't until the end of the project.
It depends on the project and how the funding is set up.
I need to speak. The estimate from the engineering firm was $676,000. That was for an extended path. We have to pay 20%, yes. We get reimbursed at the end of the year. We also get 1.2 million back from Bell Road. And again, we're sitting on 4,600,000. We just set a record. But we'll see how this, we are rich right now because we just got a real estate. So the money's gonna go down, but we're looking good. Anything else?
My suggestion simply was to look at reserve accounts as a way of encumbering the money to these specific projects to avoid the nasty gram, let's say it that way, that comes out of the budget,
But we do currently only have one reserve fund
right?
for the special equipment. Now, that was only a 5-year reserve. So next year will be year 5. So I have to go back, that's our first time doing reserve funds, find out if all the money has to be spent by the end of that year, or do we have to close it out and then be allowed to move it back to the general fund. So, or I don't know how much we're gonna be spending in, large equipment next year. So once we get into the budget, I know there was quite a bit of things that needed to be purchased, so.
There's the ORC, so.
But when you do reserve fund, it has to be for a specific
Right.
purpose, for a specific.
Right,
period.
so I'm just suggesting that maybe finance wants to look at that and have those available to avoid the conversation.
Danielle or Eric, do we know if it's a reimbursement grant for the past, the 800,000?
It is,
So we need to pay out the whole 800,000?
yeah.
We have, I wanna look at that paperwork
And
and,
Jerry, let's bear that in mind going forward.
Yeah.
Especially when we meet with the county.
Eric, we don't pay out 800,000 unless we spend it.
Well, that's true, I mean,
Okay.
the fact that you pay for the whole project and you get 80% of it as a refund back.
To get it back. They don't pay it up front.
They don't.
And then come to us asking for the rest.
Some revenue streams, grant funding streams, do pay, like they co-pay with us. OPWC is a prime example of that, where if we have a 50-50 project through OPWC, OPWC pays the contractor directly, 50%, and then we pay the contractor directly our 50%.
That's not.
That's not, right, that's not the NOAC, we'll call it the NOAC money, is a full reimbursement, it's not a co-pay, where they pay and we pay, they pay, we pay. So with NOAC money, we pay the bill and then ask for reimbursement.
Okay.
And let's keep in mind, that we don't even know what the real cost is.
Well, we don't,
We have
we
very-
don't have big loose.
Estimates.
Right.
and the other thing with government accounting is you can't say, okay, well, we budgeted for Bell Road, but we're not gonna get that bill until next year, so we're gonna spend that money now. No, that's why we have the POs, it's state, that money is put aside, so if we don't pay for it for 2 years, you can't touch it because it's put aside for that project.
Thank you. So like the 1.2 we are going to get for Bell Road will be the same thing.
Correct.
We pay it all out. All right, Jerry, I think that was still on finance. Mr. Berger, give you credit. Reserve funds is a good idea. Questions of the finance committee? Hearing none. Solicitor, you're up.
Yes, so I am going to ask council for a motion to approve the Purdue Pharma bankruptcy plan. This is where, this is for the opioid settlement. This is one of many. Purdue Pharma is in bankruptcy. Basically, the plan is that the Sackler family will be paying $5.5 billion over 15 years. Purdue Pharma will be reorganized as a public purpose company, and they're gonna use that company to fight the effects of opioid addiction. The village will share with the state and other local governments in the settlement, but if we don't approve the plan, Ohio will likely not get a large settlement. They are looking for 2/3 of all local governments to approve the plan, so I am asking for a motion from council authorizing me to vote to approve the plan for settlement.
Since it's finance, Jerry, can we make it?
I move that the solicitor be authorized by the village to vote in favor of the amended joint chapter 11 plan of reorganization by Purdue Pharma LP and its affiliated debtors for purposes of expressing our approval of the plan and the ultimate goal of getting at least a percentage back from Purdue, even if it's only 10 cents on the dollar, as is often the case in bankruptcy. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
And then also I was asked to kind of give a refresher on meetings and what meetings mean for the purposes of sunshine law and notification. So as I understand it, here's a perfect example actually. The Safe Bicycle and Pedestrian Transport Committee, as I understand now, has 3 official members, correct? Carrie Schloss, Chris Bell, and John Wall.
Yes.
Okay, so now in order for a meeting to actually occur, it would have to be 2 of the 3 members have to be physically present for a quorum. So the question is, okay, well, what if only one? Right now, before John Wall was actually appointed as a member, you had 2 members of the committee? What if only one came to a meeting? Technically, it's not a meeting under Ohio law. There's really no requirement for meeting minutes. I know it proceeded as if there was a gathering and discussion that occurred. It was properly noticed. It was maybe a cancellation at the last minute of a member. But in any event, the best practice would really be to not have the gathering and the discussion. Is it required? No, because it's not a meeting. But I will tell you that the best practice is to cancel that and to reschedule when you have it.
So you could go forward with 2 of them.
So in the new with, now there's 3 members, 2 of the 3 is now a quorum. So if you have 2 members, of course, that's a meeting. You have to be, that would be promptly, and it would go forward. If you only have 1 member though that shows up, that's not a quorum, it's not a majority of the members of the committee, it's not a meeting. Best practices would be to say, all right, we're not having this, and let's go home. Reschedule.
So my recollection is that the mayor is a member of all committees.
It's ex officio and technically not a voting member, so
So for purposes of quorum though,
no,
it doesn't count.
it does not get a vote.
Hmm.
It
Sorry
doesn't
about
count
that,
for
Mayor.
purposes of quorum. So, that's all I had on this.
Probably one of the first things we should do is put more members on the committee.
I mean, maybe, right? But then you might still have an issue with getting still a majority.
Yeah, there's some people that deserve to be on the committee. Any questions?
Solicitor, is there a status update on the easement process for Rarick?
I'm waiting to get contact information for one of the property.
Okay, thank you.
And then one last thing is that we received the proposed agreement with CMD Contracting LLC for the salt storage building, so that is now an ordinance that hopefully will be under the ordinances for tonight to approve that contract and move forward.
Okay, so,
It's a late addition.
questions of the solicitor? Hearing none. Engineer, you're up again.
Thank you, Mayor. As our solicitor alluded to, I have been hustling for the past few days to get the CMG salt storage building contract off the ground and running. And we did today. I think Brian Rogers forwarded the contract documents signed from CMG to the village for signature. In talking with Nick, the president of the company, he's looking at groundbreaking by the end of September and easily finishing the project by the end of the year. So we're still within our best case time frame to get this project done, open and usable for salt storage. The other thing that I would ask of council this evening is to consider awarding a contract to Specialized Construction for $324,748 for this year's road program. And in addition, also consider a purchase order to Reclamite for $26,908 for the surface sealing of several roads in the village, as discussed at our streets committee meeting. Beyond the salt storage building and the road program, that's what I really needed to update you on tonight, barring any questions.
When do you envision the countryside being paved after we move forward?
We're at, pull up my calendar so I can get a good visual. That's how I work. If we approve contract with Specialized tonight, I can push for a pre-construction meeting later this week. Thursday, Friday, perhaps, depending on their schedule. Then I would anticipate us starting work in September, and that's probably gonna be a 4 to 5 week construction. Not that they're gonna be out there working every day at that time. This road program has a hold-in-place recycling component to it, and there's like a 2-week cure time there where they come in and recycle and they roll it all down so it's smooth and drivable, but then we kind of step back and wait a couple of weeks for for all of that material that gets injected in there to kind of set. So I'm factoring that in. This is, 4 to 5 weeks worth of work, including the wait time. Our completion date for that, the contract completion date for that project is Halloween.
I'm sorry,
Halloween, October 31st.
Thank you.
Other questions of the engineer? Street commissioner?
Motion for that PO, for that.
For recommend,
For the
for
record.
26,000 or so.
$26,908.
Yeah,
Hold on, Ruth.
okay, so this is just a motion?
Yeah. It's
I
not on there.
move that we pay Specialized?
No, it would be, Tim, it's just, we pay Reclamite directly, that's the name of the company.
I move we pay Reclamate $26,980 to do the reclamating of the 3 streets that were mentioned.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's Woodside, Maple Springs, Southwick, Chelsea, and Countryside.
All 5 streets, so moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Ruth.
That's done, when it cools off a little bit.
I want to do it when it's warm, because the first time we did the Reclamite, it was later in the year, and we had cool temperatures,
That's
and,
kind of sticky. Yep.
yeah. So good on you for remembering that, it was an issue temperature-wise, which brings me to Countryside. Depending on when Specialized pays Countryside, it might be prudent to wait to knock that number down and be less than $26,908 and move Countryside to the following year. There's really no harm in doing that. We had Countryside in here just as we kind of fits within our budget and we can do it. But if the timing and temperature don't allow, well, then maybe we'll just do Woodside, Maple Springs, Southwick, and Chelsea, and then wait on Countryside until next year, in which case that $26,908 price goes down a little bit.
You just want to wait on Countryside till you first pay it with Specialized, then.
Then Reclamite it, and you can, after it's been rolled and cooled, you can come in and Reclamite it a couple days later. But if Specialized is paving in October, I don't know, depending on how the temperatures go, and depending on when Zach Helm from Reclamite wants to come in and do all the streets, I wouldn't necessarily hold up on all of them waiting for Countryside to be paved if the weather isn't looking like it's cooperating. So we'll say Countryside is a maybe not this year as a wild card.
Eric, go over it again. I only had 4 in my streets report. I had Chelsea, Maple Springs, Woodside, Southwick. What's the one I'm missing?
Countryside.
Countryside, that would be important. Okay, thank you.
Questions of our engineer? There's, Spring Falls, they always do the program late. Why?
I don't know.
Oh.
There's
no financial.
It might be, I don't know. I think it's more advantageous to do it earlier. We're not late by any means, but we're much later than we usually are as a village, just because we were kind of waiting for the plans to firm up around the salt storage building, which is going to be a huge expenditure for the village, to determine what kind of budget we had to maybe pare back on for the road program. So we waited, which I think is smart. But I don't know why some places choose to do it late. I would always rather just get it done early and get it done.
For Bell release, when's the best time to go out for bid? Are we talking November of this year, April of next year?
It would probably be March, April of 2026 next year. Would be the best time. If you go out to bid too early, you run the risk of contractors getting cold feet on pricing and materials, because they can't lock their price in that far ahead. So they're taking a gamble. Is it gonna stay the same? Is it gonna go up? How do I price this? And you could get some bidders with cold feet, if you go out to bid too soon for a project that's not gonna take place until much later. So a good time would be the earlier months of 2026.
Okay. No questions of the engineer street commissioner.
So I submitted my month-end report. We've been busy this past month. Any other questions for that? We did already this past week, this patch out the parking lot. So we could, from what I understand, repave the parking lot when the salt dome is, the salt structure is done. It's kind of been the plan. So we patched that in-house and we used about 7 tons of hot mix asphalt that we did.
You guys did a very good job of that, by the way. I was quite impressed.
I'm
For a
impressed
small in-house operation, you guys really did pretty good on that.
compared to what it looked like Thursday and Friday. What's today?
Questions of the street commissioner?
Just an observation there, the pavilion for the park, restained, looks great. And I noticed that the outlet that wasn't working was fixed as well.
Yeah, we're gonna install plates this week.
Ruth, I'm gonna ask you, there's a motion under the street commissioner, but can I ask you to make that motion for something that happened last year?
Which are you talking about?
Under street commissioner?
Oh. I move to ratify the mayor's signature of the Verdanus work order for the 2025 road program in the amount of $50,000. So moved.
Second. Discussion, all those in
Sorry,
favor say
wait, can you, just quickly, what was this?
I don't know, I don't remember. Somebody,
I can elaborate on that.
Thank
With the new Verdantis contract, it's much more difficult to look at the contract and say, okay, our scope of the project is this much and the former CT fee. It was much easier to intuit based on the contract language. That's now much more difficult. So I am just saying, okay, for each big project, I want to be very upfront, this is what's gonna cost, you should reserve this much for engineering. That's what this is.
Thank you very much.
It's a new
So-
internal process.
So it was just
Yeah.
built in before?
There was the old contract was, the Verdantis lawyers termed it clunky and unwieldy. It worked for me, but, there was like a percent fee built in, so if your anticipated construction costs are from $1 to $200,000, figure X amount of percent base of that for your engineering services. Well, we don't have that anymore, and I sympathize with you, the client, to say, well, then how much is engineering gonna be for this? So I'm just giving you a PO request for each big engineering thing we do that doesn't fall under hourly general services, just so you can know. And that's what this is.
Chris, you.
He answered my question. Okay, thank you.
All right, no other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, everybody. We are now at the street committee.
Street committee met on Thursday, August 7th. We discussed a few things that if the street commissioner or Eric wants to flesh out, just to review my report, was the 2 trucks that are being worked on. One is no longer, we can plow with it, but we can't throw salt. It's 24 years old. They crack sealed everything that was a village road. We're talking about one garage door that has been approved for replacement, and we still need an updated cost on that. We have 3 signs that need to be replaced at Bell Road, moving west, Snyder moving north, and which one am I forgetting?
306.
306 by the nursing home. Okay. And they're gonna look like the ones that are up there, but they're going to be done by a different company. We still have to get that final cost on that.
That's the, welcome to the village.
Welcome, South
So it was $750 to
repair.
refurbish what we have and repair, if possible, $1,100 per sign. 3 of the ones that she mentioned need replaced, they're destroyed. But the other outstanding ones that were up for discussion a while back, they can either be replaced or refurbished.
Anyway, that's where we are, that's the streets. Any questions?
Any questions on the street committee? Hearing none. Building committee, you're up. Ruth, you're up again.
Building committee, we had a good meeting also on August 7th and discussed just a review of my report. Dave Hosevar is dealing with 2 properties that are continuing non-compliant. He was going to file against them with our prosecutor to get that resolved. We talked about pool draining and that there are neighbors that just drain their pools and let it go in their neighbors' yards, and I just have a problem with thinking that people are that disrespectful. We have 2 very long empty properties on Bell Road, one right across here and one right across 306, still on Bell, that have been sold and plans are being made to build houses. A side note on that, I remember Bill Young saying 20 years ago, there's no more property, we can't build anymore. Oh, yes, we can, because you can split off of what you have, and that's what's happening, and that's really the only property that's left in South Russell. Ruth Griswold mentioned that and she has done some serious clean out over there as far as getting rid of paper and going as much online as she can. People that have their plans, leave their plans, get their project completely done, and she calls them and she emails them and says, do you want your leftover plans? And they say, sure, I'll be in this week. And they don't come. So what to do? And we told her, you've done what you need to do. They're either going to come pick them up or get rid of them. So that's another thing that I wouldn't have thought of before this committee. On a personal, this Ruth note, 5116 Chillicothe Road is the Century Blue House that is just north of Bell Road. That is our oldest house, still standing, barely, in South Russell. If you want to drive by and look at her, built by Tabor Warren. I didn't look the date up again, it's about 1835, but she is in rough shape. She went to auction and she now is owned by, I think, Bank of America or something like that. And she's got tarps for the roof. But go back in time, picture a carriage and some horses and some people dressed in long clothes. She was there. That's my report.
Do you want to pick another meeting date, please?
Yes. Do you want to do it now?
Sure. I'm looking at it in the sunshine, presumably.
Let me do it toward the end of the meeting, okay? I'm not ready right now.
All right, questions of the building committee? I would encourage you, all those striping and parking issues, there's a brand new parking lot, there's new concrete parking lots down there, asphalt parking lot was just put in. It's like almost all these issues now have been
Almost solved?
almost solved. Yeah, I drive by.
I said I would go down and see it. I haven't done it
It's
yet.
quite a surprise.
Okay.
Fire chief, you're up.
Thank you. Other than the submission of my month-end report, I have nothing else to report.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
as you know, the school bell's about to ring.
Mhm.
And will we continue to have an officer at Gurney and officers present at the beginning of the school and after school?
School safety officer will always be present. The duty officers will take positions at the school and in the school zone. And we've also moved a couple speed boxes and mounted them right to the school zone flashers, so that when the school zone flashers are powered up, drivers will now see their own speeds.
I understand we have an issue with the Gurney sign, not being on Gurney property.
That's a building issue.
I have talked with administrator at the schools, they're moving that sign.
Are they allowed on the property?
They're gonna move it, they wanna move the sign to the road that leads to Gurney.
So move it across the Gurney driveway?
Yes.
If anybody does a drive-by, it's unmowed and it looks bad and it's kind of a safety issue.
And it came up at the building.
It did come up in buildings, yep. We got people that can't sit at the table and get it solved.
They come up again then.
Mark, how does Thursday, September 4th, does that work for you, Thursday morning?
What are we doing?
Uh,
In the middle of
that-
the chief's report.
Sorry, building, well, just
All
came
right,
up.
let's, any questions of the chief? All right, now, okay, go ahead.
No, we'll do it at the end.
All right, we have the safety committee.
Okay, safety committee, two different meetings since last in July. First on July 17th, the minutes were in your packet. Just of note that the committee approved the chief upgrading the backup radio system in the police headquarters. It was 30-plus years old. It's housed in the attic, I believe.
Yeah.
$6,500 was in his budget, so that's being upgraded. Second meeting was a special safety meeting on July 31st. Councilman Berger participated in that as it had to do with the fire department. Contract renewal, we had, 6 people from the fire department here. They come in mass, as well as former councilman and police chief of Lyndhurst, is that right? Lyndhurst. Mike Carroll was here to provide some great insight for us. So we had a really good meeting, learned a lot of things, and we will be participating in a meeting with the fire department down at their place and the other communities this Wednesday to talk about the contract renewal. Chris, did you have anything you want to add about that meeting?
No.
No, okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for this Thursday at 8 a.m. We'll also be having a special HR/safety committee at the same time. We'll be interviewing a candidate. Police chief has recommended. Other than that, Councilman Galicki, did you have anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add. That's all we have for safety right now.
Questions of the safety committee? And chief, congratulations as always, another successful open house.
Thank you.
And thanks for hosting the people last week. It's just great PR.
Thank you very much.
HR committee.
HR, we met on July 15th. The meeting minutes were in your packet. We meet again tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. here at Village Hall. Pending any commentary from Councilman Berger?
No, thank you.
That's all we have for tonight.
Questions for the HR committee? Hearing none. Property committee.
Property committee met, minutes are in your packet. We will, tentatively scheduling August 26th at 10 a.m., which is after the cemetery meeting, from 9 to 10, so hopefully that will work. Comments from Councilman Galicki?
None, sir.
Questions of the property committee? Reading the minutes. The discussion is take down or not fly the American flags on the telephone poles because they're not lit.
It was the question was asked if it made any sense to change from flying the American flags to flying bunting or something appropriate, because the flags are not lit at night, and that is not in compliance with Ohio Revised Code and federal law. So that's why we were looking at other options. No decision's been made.
I would just encourage everybody to talk to your friends and neighbors and new people out there. We started this program, Show Your Colors.
Show Your Colors, about 1989.
Maybe some feedback that we appreciate. All right, we were at the park committee.
Okay, the park committee, we continue to work towards the fall festival. With the assistance of the mayor and the street commissioner and the graphics department of the police department, we have a draft of the layout for the fall festival. It looks like this. It has been emailed to the park committee. I put copies at the council members' chairs tonight. This is not a final, but the intention is that we will be able to present this to everybody involved so that hopefully we will avoid confusion on October 5th. And I thank the street commissioner for his efforts in this regard. We will have, we're planning a park committee meeting on August 25th at 6:30 PM at the park, at the pavilion, to finalize the Fall Festival program and to lock down our commitments.
The map that we came up with, we were unable to save the, if it's too wet.
Oh, okay.
That's why that didn't happen, or didn't get printed, it wouldn't save for some reason, couldn't
Okay.
save. So really the only difference, I think, comes down to the food truck, which are these blue trucks locations.
Right, so we have literally 3 plans going forward. We have dry weather, we have wet weather but still usable, and we have canceled. So we're trying to come up with game plans for all 3 to anticipate the weather. So, comments from Councilman Galicki?
None, sir.
Or Councilwoman
No, you
Kavanaugh?
did a good job. I would like God to please dispense some rain now, instead of having it happen on October 5th.
Your lips to God's ear.
Questions of the Parks Committee? Can we, on your agenda of the 25th, have everybody report their drop dead deadline? So like a Mr. Limo, if we can cancel, is it 24 hours ahead of time?
Or is it
Save the money,
48? Yeah.
Or if it's 48 hours, or so that if a hurricane comes up the Mississippi Valley that weekend, we gotta cancel. That's a lot of quick phone calls to cancel.
We
We
will,
could just put that on if they could give their drop dead deadline.
okay, we will put it on the agenda.
Thank you. All right, we're Public Utilities Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Utilities met August 8th. Daniel, I owe you the minutes for the Public Utilities meeting, which will be forthcoming shortly. A number of things were discussed, such as Fairview, Hazelwood, the ongoing projects that we have for stormwater mitigation. We also talked quite a bit about the Sugar Bush issue with the silt pond and their lake. And it appears that the village at least contributed in some form or fashion to the silt that is currently in their silt pond. Silted up in 18 months. The engineer indicates that the likely source was the Manor Brook Phase 1 project. And the street commissioner had a couple of bids, or a couple of quotes, I should say, for dredging out or scooping out, might be a more appropriate term, the silt pond, just the silt pond, right?
Correct.
Just the silt pond, at about $37,000
Ranged.
within range, okay? The committee discussed this, and they're not prepared to make a formal recommendation at this point, but it will likely be 2-part. First, Sugar Bush indicated a willingness to enter into a licensing agreement with the village for the purposes of pond monitoring, which would involve not just your silt pond, but also, you don't call it a swim lake, you call
Swim lane is actually Hidden Lake.
it Hidden Lake, which would cover both, and we asked the solicitor to be in line to prepare that down the road should this become a formal recommendation that it be approved by council. Secondly, that the village should contribute in whole or in part to the cost of the dredging for the silt pond and potentially a portion of Hidden Lake, because the village, in essence, created at least probably this problem. It may not occur again because we end the Phase 1 Manor Brook grow-in period, though it could quite possibly do it. Council may recall that 3 years ago, we split the cost with Sugar Bush for the purposes of scooping out a good portion of their silt pond. And the projection is that 3 to 5 years would pass before it needed to be done again. Well, we're at the 3-year point, and it definitely needs to be done again. They came with pictures and video of what their silt pond and Hidden Lake looks like because of the silt buildup in their silt pond. And ultimately, the solution may well be, dare I even say it, a retention pond on Fox Run property. Councilman Kavanaugh may recall that when Fox Run went in, there was a retention pond built there for the purposes of, stormwater mitigation, but that went by the wayside at some point and has not reappeared. But there's silt pond there, their hidden lake, and the people downstream of them are going to continue to see silt because of this problem. It may eventually go away because the Manitoba Phase 1 grow in, but we have no guarantee that will actually be the case. So Public Utilities will discuss this further at our next meeting and come up with a formal recommendation to council on these 2 points. Jerry, as far as the next meeting is concerned, do you have a academic schedule pretty much?
Yes.
Okay. Can we do September 10th at 3:15 p.m.? And for those in the audience, you are welcome to attend that as well.
Finance was going to be
Friday.
Friday, the 12th to 3:15.
Yeah.
And you're proposing what date?
The Wednesday, the 10th, 2 days before.
At 3:15?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, Mayor, is that all right with you?
Good, I'll be there.
Okay, Danielle, can you sunshine that, please? Okay. So, we also talked about the Fairview Hazelwood project, and the engineer indicated that the flow analysis still needs to be completed to satisfy the county engineer, but that it will eventually be done, and then we may be in the position where we will be able to go out to bid for that project.
Sooner than later is what I'm pushing for.
I'd like to think September would be a good time to go out for bid. Would that be reasonably close?
I hope so.
Okay. But we would like to get it done this year because as you've all heard, we had a 50% grant from the state of Ohio for this purpose, and Russell had indicated that they would split the cost with us because part of it solved one of their problems on their end. So nonetheless, we hope to go out to bid next month, as long as the flow analysis gets done and the county engineer is satisfied. We have to solve a lot of stormwater issues in the Fairview area, but not entirely because the next street to the east is going to present challenges as well.
Hemlock is looming.
It is. So with that, Jerry, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing.
That completes the report. Any questions, Mayor?
Questions of the Public Utilities Committee meeting?
Not a question, a comment.
Yeah.
If we're going to give a dime to Sugar Bush, I want that opened up to every private lake in the village when they have a problem with silting.
Personally, I don't have a problem with that. However, Sugar Bush received silt from a village project. And also, when we scooped it out for them 3 years ago, that was silt from a village project. Fairview, that project was within the right of way. Nonetheless, Ruth, I'm fine with having the village establish a fund for dredging or ponds within the village, whether or not the village contributed to their silting. And Chris talked about a reserve fund, Chris Berger, and that is probably a good thing to bring up in our budget meetings coming up, that we have a village silt fund.
The water flow meter that is for Sugar Bush, is that available to all lakes in South Russell?
Well, it's just Sugar River Watershed Partners with the flow monitor on the Bell Road culvert, the bridge for the stream that's tributary, comes out of Fox Run and is tributary to Sugar Bush. I think if the village wanted to expand that flow monitoring program, you certainly could. We received that flow monitor at the recommendation of Red River Watershed Partners, and it was part of a grant project that they were doing.
But it doesn't just measure water, it measures the silt going in?
Measures the flow. It measures the elevation of the water surface in compared to the elevation of where the flow monitor is mounted, like in this case, it's mounted on the culvert, in a fixed spot, so it beams down and it tells you it's 4.5 feet to the water surface. You can extrapolate flow based on that because we know the slope of that channel and the relative shape of that channel. So we can get a flow volume in gallons per minute. You can't really necessarily link that to, well, if we're getting, 200 gallons a minute on a dry day and we're getting 2,000 gallons a minute on a wet day, we would know the flow and we could extrapolate velocity. But as far as how much silt is in that water, no. How many logs and leaves are coming down with it? No. The answer is no, it's just flow.
I'm thinking about under the road near Pawpaw.
I'm gonna let some of the visitors speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, hearing this, which I know this has been
Oh,
brought up,
Oh, okay. You can name and address.
Virginia Dick, 71 Pawpaw Lake Drive. When you talk about public utilities, and then when the gas line was done, how many years ago? And how many times have I heard, well, that's the public utilities, that's the gas company. Well, they were digging up Bell Road. We had just cleaned our silt pond 2 years before and it filled right up. And I think everyone knows everything flows into us down there that comes from Snyder, everywhere else. And, again, we've had this discussion before. You were gonna take it over, but you wanted our property. We would have given you an easement to get in and clean out and take care of our silt pond. But, we wanna keep Pawpaw as, you wanna bring machinery and clean out, maybe fine. And here we ended up spending, what, $50,000. And, and again,
We're giving no help.
and we were there before, Pawpaw was here before South Russell. And so engineers and other people approved all these homes and communities, and we suffer for it. We do. So,
Well, the community gets.
Hold on. I would suggest, we're in the middle of the Public Utilities Committee report. Let's deal with that. I suggest that the Pawpaw people come on September 10th, Public Utilities Committee meeting, come prepared. We can be prepared for you.
okay,
We've got to be fair both ways.
right, that's
Okay.
fair.
Let's go back to a couple of things on the high flow. Eric, they came to, when we got that monitor roof at Anchorage Bell, they came to us and said they want to put 50 of them in Northeast Ohio. They picked the location. Danielle's what, 1,500?
$1,725 a year.
For one or for all?
Ours,
4 hours.
For ours. Yeah.
our one, right?
Well, we have one. This is our third one, I believe.
Well, one location.
Yeah, one location. This is the third one. First thing we'll do is get the high-fly in so we know what we're getting and open up. All right, we're back at the motions under public utilities.
I have one question. You mentioned September 10th meeting. Maybe one of the things that the four of us from Pawpaw, Joe Pianecki, by the way, 71 Pawpaw, that we came to hear is help us understand, we certainly understand that maybe whatever the project was caused this silt issue, right? Okay, that's somewhat evident. Help us understand why the gas line thing that filled up our silt pond in 2.5 years was not a village issue. Doesn't the village have some responsibility to manage silt, or is it, you're gonna put that on the gas company and say, well, that's the gas company's problem? Or is it the village's problem? We were given no help. So we're trying to understand the differentiation between those two, okay? And if you had to pay $50,000 as a small community, you'd probably ask the same question yourself. Seeing another community getting help, and you're like, wait a minute, what's the matter with us, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so.
And then we'll have the information from the gas line, September 10th, so that we're prepared to have an intelligent discussion.
All right,
All right, let's knock these two motions off.
fair enough.
I'd like to make a motion to ratify the mayor's signature of the Verdansk work order for the Hemlock Culvert project in the amount of $25,000. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Mannerbrook Stormwater Retention Project in the amount of $20,000, improving the mayor's signature of the Verdansk work order for this project. This is Mannerbrook Phase 1.
No, and I was gonna clarify this, so I'm glad you pointed to me. We were looking at, on Reserve Trail, on Mannerbrook Drive. The main portion of Mannerbrook Drive, as it passes under the power lines, there's a stormwater issue there. And it's caused issues for the folks on Reserve Trail. We were initially under the impression that we're probably gonna have to come up with a plan to mitigate that, to manage that stormwater runoff. And our initial thought was, okay, so a small version or a stepped version of our central retention basin constructed over there. I went ahead and had my stormwater modeling folks go ahead and take a comprehensive look at that and make a map based on drainage patterns and drainage basin areas, and they came back to me with a really puzzled look. There's not enough water to cause the problem that you're saying we have. Where is it coming from? And they're telling me that, and I believe them, that a retention pond, if we paid money to build a retention pond there, it wouldn't necessarily fix the problem. So I had come up with this $20,000, like, give me some money to really dig into this. And look, I jumped the gun and preemptively looked into it. But it's gonna be a whole lot less than this $20,000 because we're not gonna need to come up with a plan for stormwater retention. What we are going to probably have is check dams and some rock channel protection in that scoured out ditch section. It's real evident to see from the road. Put a couple of check dams across it and just slow the water down. It's not a water quantity, it's a water velocity issue. So let's just check dam it, slow it down, and call it a day. And Tim's crew, luckily, is capable of doing the vast majority, if not all of that work in-house. So.
I recall this came up at the public utilities meeting, and what you're saying is this 20 grand isn't needed.
Well, I've spent some of it already, just to determine that we don't need to put a retention pond there. But we're gonna be nowhere near $20,000 in engineering. Like, I can come up in a couple more hours with a little sketch on check dam, rock channel protection done.
So would 5 be all right?
Let's cut it down to 10 and I'll surprise you with a lower number.
Very good. Modified to $10,000, so moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion.
Mayor,
Whoop.
we've got a couple of recusals.
So that's a,
Roll call.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Recused.
Canton.
Cheers.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Licky.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Berger. All right, and then questions of the Public Utilities Committee. Hearing none, Ruth, you're back up for this first ordinance.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance awarding the bid for the 2025 pavement repair road program to Specialized Construction in the amount of $324,748, subject to an acceptable contract between Specialized Construction, Inc. and the Village of South Russell, and declaring an emergency, and move to waive readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Licky.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Licky.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. Who wants to do this next one on the hand, replacement pages?
I'll do it.
Okay,
I'd like to introduce and consider for adoption ordinance to approve the current replacement pages to South Russell codified ordinances, declaring emergency, move to waive further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye, move to adopt.
Second.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. Jerry.
Introduce and consider for adoption a resolution authorizing the sale of personal property not needed by the village and declaring an emergency and suspend further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Mr.
Question.
Schroeder, you got the next
Question, does that include both lists from the police department and the search department?
Should.
It's whatever's attached to it, but I'll show it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, resolution passes. Chris, you got the next two.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance approving the contract between the Ohio Mobile Gaming Corp. and the Village of South Russell for rental equipment consisting of an inflatable bouncer and slide for the 2025 Fall Festival in an amount not to exceed $1,103.57, authorizing the mayor to execute the contract, declaring an emergency, waive further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance approving the contract between A1 Mr. Limo, Inc. and the Village of South Russell for trolley shuttle services for the 2025 Fall Festival in an amount not to exceed $928, authorizing the mayor to execute the contract, declaring an emergency, waive further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. The bills list.
Oh, no.
We have one more
There's
ordinance.
one more.
Yes.
That ordinance,
I'm sorry.
that ordinance I gave you.
Yeah, for the, road program.
I know this is for the.
This is the salt storage building.
Salt storage. You need a better name.
Salt house.
Chris
Bell. The Chris Bell Salt House.
Maybe just leave it salt though. You know, it's not dumb.
Okay, Ruth, the floor is yours.
Want to introduce an ordinance approving the agreement with CMG Contracting LLC for the design and construction of the Village of South Russell's storage building for road salt, yard materials, and vehicles in an amount not to exceed $707,704. Authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the Village of South Russell and declaring an emergency and move to waive readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Bell.
Aye.
Bricker.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. Now we're at the bills list.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to ratify the bills list of 7/30/25 in the amount of $32,117.65.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. New other.
I had a question about first of all, I want to know what committee is going to do the cybersecurity policy because that needs to be adopted by the end of September.
Any comment the chair wants to deal with cybersecurity?
No.
If not, we'll congratulate the chief. And
Safety.
safety. Sure. Thank you, safety. Chris, you got another one?
We're getting a badge.
Chris, you guys,
It's here.
Chris, that's all right for you.
That's actually, we're multi-tagging.
Okay.
Okay, you other about
It's a red badge.
I have none, thank you.
Bricker.
None.
Canton.
Yes, I plan on attending the meeting on August 13th in Spring Valley, Florida.
Is anybody else from council going to attend that meeting? Because we-
What
So,
time?
It's 6 o'clock.
6 P.M.
So, I'm
I can't talk.
Aye. So let's do
It
sunshine
might,
that,
it
right?
might be the, I'm sorry, can you tell me one more time how many is it?
We're gonna
3
have
or
4,
4?
so sunshine is a
Oh, the
special.
sunshine, regardless.
Well, even if it's just the safety notice, and there's a safety.
That's all I have.
Kavanaugh,
The only thing, I looked at the dates so that we could get them sunshined. Mark, would Thursday, September 4th work for you for building at 8 AM?
Sure. How about the mayor?
Mayor, September 4th, 8 AM, first thing.
Sounds good.
Dennis, want to follow up at 9 AM with the streets meeting?
We can do that. We can put it in that.
Is that good for you, street commissioner?
Yes.
9 AM, streets
Streets.
committee meeting on what day?
September 4th.
September 4th. You got it.
Got those, Danielle?
Yep.
Thank you, that's it.
Pelleggi,
Nothing.
Porter.
Okay. Christel, executive session, please.
Is it out here?
No, it's not.
Wonderful, I have an email going.
I'd like to make a motion to an executive session in compliance with ORC section 121.22.
22? I don't know. Is it G1? Is it for employment?
To discuss, what are we discussing, Mr. Mayor?
Personnel.
Discuss
G1
G1
for the employment of a public.
for the employment of a public official
I don't know, I think it's an employee, I'm not sure though.
or public employee.
Who are you
I'd like to
inviting?
invite obviously council, the mayor, solicitor,
No,
no, fiscal officer,
no, nothing.
okay, just council.
So just mayor, just the mayor. Council already
It's
is
gonna be a
invited.
surprise for all of
There you
us. So,
Second.
Okay, Bell,
aye.
Berger,
Right.
Canton,
Aye.
Kavanaugh, Pelleggi,
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
All right, we'll do executive session in about 2 minutes.